There we go. We're live, everybody.
We're live. Woohoo. We made it.
It
That
wouldn't
was
be
scary.
any kind of show if we didn't have technical difficulties. Come on.
Oh my goodness. Talk about last minute fixes and all the things. But we made it.
We're getting there. We're figuring it out.
That was fun. Yes,
Looks
we
like
are
we've
getting
got a
there.
couple people on. So, all right. Emily's there. She must be downstairs. She's not in here with
Okay.
me.
Good. Already. Okay, so Notion's not going to work. So, you know what? Just for the computer's sake, I'm just, it's just going to be camera and all kinds of things. And I'll just have to use my phone for the book talk stuff.
No problem. All right. So let's get
Okay.
started, I guess. We had a heck of a last month or so. We haven't been able to nail down some time to meet, and we talk individually, but and we've got the Discord, so we've been chatting with some people in the book club, but this is the first time we've been back on camera or on
Hmm.
recording in weeks. So I'm happy to be back, but it was well needed time off, for the holidays and
Absolutely. If only I had time off
like,
from work too.
yeah, same. But I did, but never enough.
It was
I know
good
you had to
though.
work
It
the
was
whole time.
good. Spending time with the family is always a good time.
It's good mental health to just take a break and
The whole time.
uh,
No
just
breaks.
just breathe. That's all right. And then let me look at
Absolutely.
my notes
And
here.
anytime you can talk about books. Okay. I was going to say, anytime you can talk about books is a break. It's just a break from life.
Yeah, life's not going to slow down, so let's keep going.
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, this is technically our last book of last year. Our first book discussion for this year.
Yes.
So it was December's pick. And we can thank Emily, who's online here with us, because she wanted this book so desperately bad. And we got it as a book of the month pick. So we had it, and it won kind of. There's a tiebreaker every single month. And Emily got to do the tiebreaker this time.
Every month. I don't plan them. I promise I don't plan them.
No, but that means we've got good picks. When you've got multiple options and everybody keeps, picking different books, and there's always a two-way tie usually. We almost had a three-way tie this time.
Yes, we did. I'm going to add those other ones back in there and see what happens this time.
Next time. I like it. I got a little
Yeah. We'll
little
just
icon
rotate.
up here. Let me see if I can add back in where's our guy at? Boom. Look at that. Now we got the little icon for the 13th Child.
Oh, that is so awesome.
So we are here to talk about the 13th Child, which
That
is
is so
also
cool.
here, which is probably backwards. 13th Child by Erin A. Craig. Is this the first time you read anything from her?
Yes, it is the first time.
It's technically my first time. We own the other books. Emily is really enjoyed. I think it's Salt and Sorrows, and then there's Roots and Ruins. It's a little YA Gothic duology, and she really enjoyed them. I just haven't gotten around to them. So this is the first read from me from her as well.
Okay.
So I volunteered myself to
I
do
don't
this.
even think I've ever seen her books before.
Oh, really?
Okay. I don't think I've ever heard of her books before. I was actually just looking to see, like, to Google some of the ones that um she had wrote, just out of curiosity.
Oh, Emily's already talking about it. I was going to say she always recommends Small Favors. She already put it in the chat here.
Small
So that is
favors.
her
Okay.
favorite book from her.
I
It's definitely fairy heavy.
okay. I'll have to look it up. I'm gonna add it to my list just to listen to it and see. Because I mean, I don't want to get too far into it, but I mean, I thought the book was all right. I think it was okay.
Yeah.
I would give it a try.
I enjoy her writing at least. I think she's well written, and I enjoyed that.
Hammy was blowing me kisses. He
I
just
figured.
finished eating, so he's very happy.
And hyper, I'm sure.
Yes.
Emily is Erin A.
All
Craig's
right. So you
biggest
said
fan,
you'll do the
apparently.
synopsis of it?
Yeah.
I see. Gothic fantasy has epic plot and great characters. I added to my list, so we're gonna see.
All
I thought
right,
the
Emily,
book was
keep on her.
pretty too.
It is a really pretty cover. All right, so I will read the synopsis and my notes from that. So essentially, this centers around Hazel, who is the 13th child of her parents, born to her parents. And 13th children are special. They are powerful in a way, in a sense, especially as tools to the gods. Um, and this world has three gods. There's a main god who no one sees but speaks to her seers and her, um, oracles. And then you have the divided ones, which are many gods crammed into one body, one vessel. And so they all share kind of the same thing, which I thought was really cool, even though we only center the main two. There are supposedly hundreds of thousands of gods inside this one vessel. And then the third god is the god of death. Essentially, we don't. I feel like we don't get a whole lot on him, but he is the main god that we're going to follow in this. And then when Hazel's parents find out that they're going to be having another child, they know this is going to be very difficult for them. And so the gods petition to take the baby from them and put them in service to them as their godparent. And the first god is turned down, as is the second, but death comes and makes an offer to make her famous and never to worry, never to need anything. And they accept. The only problem is he never shows up when the baby's born. Um, he never comes to get her, and years go by, and the family is struggling, and she's not well treated by her parents because they view her as a burden who shouldn't be there. Her God should have come and got her. And then one day he does, and he whisks her away to live her life with him. However, he has a very distinct plan for her. So he's going to make her the world's greatest healer. And that might not be what she expected, but that is what she is going to be. And from there, the story takes off. And, the main plot of the story is after she's come this world renowned healer, she's called upon by the king because he is sick with a mysterious illness. And um, Hazel has these special abilities to see what ails a person and how to cure it. However, she can also see when it's time for them to go. And death has put her in charge of making sure those people go by taking them out before they had the chance to destroy other lives or kill other people. So she sees this skull above the king and she knows she needs to kill him, but she doesn't know if that's the right choice. And it was a very, very interesting story. It was long. It's not short. So I was not expecting that as much from her other stories, which are YA, which are pretty short. I think 250 pages. And then this guy is much, much bigger. So I'll leave it there. And then I guess I'll open it up to just general feelings. I know you've already shared some inklings about it, but I'll let you talk about it a little bit. Oh, did I lose you?
I think I'm back.
Okay, there she is.
Am I back?
You come and go. More technical difficulties.
This is the wonkiest day. This is the wonkiest day.
I know. I can see. Well, now I can't, but
What
I
about
can
now?
hear you.
Can you hear me though?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but it's all right. We're gonna keep
That's
floating.
all right. Yeah.
Okay.
So, what did you think about the
What
book?
maybe the video is slowing things down and making it lag. I don't know, but we're just gonna keep going. I don't know.
Okay.
And we'll see if it gets its act together. I guess today it's just, a fun tech day.
That's all right. It's a live show.
Yeah, it is. It wouldn't be live without technical difficulties. Technology is great when it actually wants to work.
I feel you.
It just doesn't it just doesn't want to work today, but that's okay. Just, we'll just keep going.
At least your mic's
I'll just
working
leave the
well.
camera off. We'll see. Yes, exactly. We have a microphone and, maybe I should like upload a picture so it's not just a random thing, but I'm scared if I do that it's going to mess up. So, we're not going to do that either.
You're good.
Oh
Uh,
my goodness. I apologize
so,
for the technical difficulties.
no need to apologize. What did you think about the book?
Um, it was very different for me. Um, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't, oh my gosh, I love this. Um, I have read books that were similar. When I listened to this one, it reminds me of like the Belladonna series that I read. I didn't read Wisteria, but I read Belladonna and Foxglove. And both of those, it kind of gives me that same feel of like death necessarily. Um, but it wasn't, I don't know. It just wasn't, I don't even know how to put it in words necessarily. And then you can't see my face because it's, the black circle, but it's hard trying to pinpoint exactly how this book made me feel. I
Yeah.
do like the plot necessarily of it. I did definitely enjoy the plot, but I I just couldn't finish it.
Yeah. Yeah. I did. Um, I didn't have trouble necessarily getting through it. It was long. It felt long. Um, the story very, up and down, very roller coaster for me. And I didn't
Mhm.
have any qualms with, like I said, writing was really well done. Um, most of the
Mhm.
characters, not a lot of characters. Um, and the few that
No,
we
it
do,
wasn't a lot at all.
the few that we do center, we do get to know them quite well. Hazel and Merrick, who is the god of death, and the other gods that kind of
Mhm.
into play, and the king, and the king's son. We've only got a handful of characters, but I enjoyed most of them. I don't think any of them were necessarily unlikable. Maybe Hazel's a little, I don't know, flat. She definitely
Mhm.
had growth because we watch her grow up from a child, a literal child, 9-year-old child who's been forced in this position to an adult.
Mhm.
But at the same time, I don't know. She just didn't seem very. I didn't necessarily love following her. Um, she was a bit whiny sometimes.
Yeah, and I think that might have been one of the reasons why I was like, I just I just struggled with this one, and usually, like, I can push through, but this one I definitely struggle with.
So I think it goes without saying that well, I mean, you could offer a rating, but it sounds like you DNF'd this. You didn't finish it.
I did DNF it, but I can give it a rating. I can give it my rating. I would say I would give this one a 2.
Okay.
Yeah, I would
Anybody
give it
else?
a 2.
Anybody else listening in? Emily, give your rating. I gave it a 2.5, and I did finish it, and I just
Oh,
didn't.
that's okay.
I didn't enjoy the. There was some. Yeah. See, Emily gave it a 3. Um,
Okay, so we're all about the same.
which 3's not a bad rating. She said she liked the main character growth, story had potential. Yeah, I agree. I didn't enjoy the romance progression
Mhm,
either. It felt too fast.
mhm.
Um and just, like it feels like when you're a teenager and you have this crush and you think it's like this love of your life, and it just felt like that. Yeah. And I think that's what happened with me in the ending. I didn't like any kind of twist that it did give, which wasn't much in my opinion. It had all of these pieces, and I feel like she was like, "Oh, this would be great. Oh, this would be great. And oh, this would be great." But
Mhm.
she didn't cement them into the story. They're not solid pieces. So it just feels like she was trying to do a bunch of things, and she kind of did them.
It was like I was waiting for it. I was just, like, waiting for the twist or something to pull me in and make me want to keep reading, but the part where I was oh, did we say we were going to the spoiler part yet or no?
We haven't yet, um, but I'm ready as
Okay.
well to get into this. We talked about our ratings, so I think at this point,
Okay.
we are going to get into spoiler territory. So if you have not read the book, based on our ratings, I don't know if you even want to read the book, but if you have
I
decided
don't
I
know if
still
they're
want to
gonna
read the
read
book,
it.
and if you don't mind spoilers, stick around. But otherwise, pop on off, and we look forward to seeing you guys next time. All right. I think that's a good
Alright,
enough
awesome.
warning. So let unleash.
Yes, very much so. Alright. So, I got to the part where it was I think I actually still have it in my Libby app. I think I had, like, maybe 6 hours left, so I got pretty far into the story of it. I got to 59%. So that's a significant chunk of it, but the part where I was, it was just weird. They were talking about being in some garden and the brilliance was just like pouring out or something. And I'm like, what am I reading?
Yeah, there was a lot of, so like I said, when I said she had these pieces, so if we go back to the beginning of the book, we followed her as a child in her
Mhm.
Cinderella phase is what I'm calling it, where she was just kind of like doing all the nasty stuff nobody wanted to do. She wasn't treated well. We
Yes.
followed that too long. It's
Yes, absolutely. I felt like it should have been much shorter, I
Mhm.
guess. It was just drawn out, is the best way to
It
put it. It
was.
was just drawn out.
Again, she puts in Leopold as a younger man at that time, and that's trying to tie it to the romance at the end of the story, because obviously he's the king's son, he is going to be the romantic interest. But then on the second part, when she does go live with Merrick, that's too long. Where I know we need
Mhm.
to. She's 9 years old, 10 years old, 11 years old, whatever. I think she's 12 when he takes her. I don't remember. Um, but she's learning all
No,
of
she
these.
was 13. It was her 13th
Oh,
birthday when he came to get
oh,
her, wasn't
see
it?
how much I pay attention. I thought she was younger. Um,
That's
but
listening to it on that 3 times speed, that's why.
no, this one had a weird narrator, so I was only at two and a quarter. Um, but yeah, probably. I was also probably shopping. So yeah, but we live
Very
in
much
that
possible.
space where she's learning all of this medical knowledge, and she's going through all of that, and again, just too long.
And see, for me on that part, I wanted to know, like, what was the true purpose of that? I guess that when I was listening, I wanted to hear some super magnificent history as to why she was a healer. Um, I thought when he first took her and said, now you're going to do this and you can do all the things that I cannot do. I think that was my moment where I was really waiting, like, oh man, this story's about to take off. And I was waiting for all of those fabulous things that you're waiting on, to take place and to happen. And
Yeah.
it didn't happen. It's
No,
like, oh, well, it's like now she's going to another place. So he moved her from this temporary home to another home. And I'm like, okay, well, what's up with all the moving?
yeah. He introduces, well, Aaron, the author introduces this healer in the woods when she's a young girl, and like
Mhm.
she used to go there and talk to her and help her out. And like it's just glanced over. It's just like, "Oh, your camera's back." Um it's just
I put
glanced
it back
over.
on. We're going to see how long this lasts.
Okay. It's just kind of
We're going to
glanced
see if it
over
works.
and feels like it's not really it has no point. Um and
Mhm.
then in the second phase where she's doing that other piece, there is a point. So you didn't finish the book. There is a reason why he made her learn all of this knowledge. Um, and it's basically because that
Okay.
power that was granted to her isn't it's not granted from him. She can see the death skulls because the first god, who I can never remember her name, but like the almighty one, um granted her that. Not only did she grant her the three lives, the three candles, but also gave the ability to see these skulls and see
Okay.
people's ailments and how to heal them and how to help them and whatnot. And then at some point, it's taken away because she betrays. She gives a candle away, and
Oh.
she breaks that, so the power is taken away. Um, and then she has to rely on her knowledge, her medical knowledge, to try and still be of use to people. But again, it's really not that dramatic.
Oh.
It
So now
wasn't.
it's starting to make sense because I do remember hearing that part, but it was just so many bits and pieces. I just felt like nothing was sticking as I was reading it, like just nothing.
Yeah. One of my other really annoying issues is Merrick as a character, because he's her godfather and you can tell he cares about her. He's very passionate and protective and all of that. But there I don't understand the connection to her. And it's it's
Mhm.
it's weird because it feels like love, and I'm just curious about that because he also gets jealous at times of other people who she's in love with, and it's from a place of like he's not good enough for you, or this or that. And that's okay, I guess, but it does feel very like predatorily. It's the only way I can put it. It doesn't feel kosher. Oh, Emily's disagreeing with me.
Ah, I'm so happy Em is with us today.
This is,
Next, we'll have to put her on camera.
I know. She was like, "Am I gonna be on camera?" I'm like, "Not today. Um, you can go get in that." No, Caleb, that's just your mind. Oh goodness, that's what happens
I
when I
love it.
bring to the show.
That's all right. I love it.
And then
I'm
the
pretty sure
last
my
part of
husband is tired of me talking about books.
why you should never be tired of that. All right.
Go back
So
to my
the
notes. I did take really
last okay. The last piece of the book, which you missed out on, is all following this king and his ailment and how she saves him. And then there is a twist at the end, that just, I don't know, doesn't feel big. It doesn't feel big enough, doesn't feel grand enough. The villain's not really that villainy. And
Mhm.
the worst part about all of this is, by the end of it, there is no, like, it just completely glances over the relationship with Merrick. It it ends, and then you don't no one's talking about him anymore. She's gone off to have her own little happily ever after kind of thing, and nothing is mentioned about him again. It just feels really, really weird. Um, and to spend most of her life and to have him change her whole life, you would think he would be more prevalent in the ending. And I just feel like that was really, really weird. I didn't enjoy that at all.
Mhm. And see, since I didn't finish it, I can't really add too many pieces and parts to it.
I know. That's all right. Overall, the book wasn't bad. I know my 2-star rating or 2.5-star rating doesn't sound great.
I think this
It
is like the
wasn't
first
bad.
book I actually didn't read.
Oh, a book club pick?
Mhm. This is the first one.
Okay. I mean, you pushed through Immortal
Mhm.
Longing, didn't you? Or Mortal Dark?
No, but that wasn't one of our picks. That was one of my personal picks.
Oh, I thought that was for another book club you were in.
I didn't push through that one. We didn't read Immortal Dark, did we?
No, not
Come
us.
on.
I thought you had another book club.
Um, yeah, kinda, sorta. Just one that I'm kinda, like, with. I, like, really like the group of people that are in it, but no, this is my primary.
Well, go steal them and bring them to ours.
Well, we can't steal people, that's not right.
I mean, they can stay in that group too.
Ours is doing pretty good, though.
It
Yeah,
is.
I think I like the picks of our books better. I don't know if it's because the books that we're picking are different than what I would probably normally read, but yeah, I like the picks of our books better.
I do.
So, yes, you can.
Yeah, she said, I like the fantasy and magic system, villain not scary enough. Yeah, there's just something missing. It was missing the spark to take this to like a great read, like a 3.5, 4-star read. It had potential. It could have got there. It just didn't. So
Mhm.
I don't think you missed out on DNFing. I'm a big proponent for DNFing when you're not enjoying something. I did my first DNF of the year the other day. Um, and that's okay. And I'll have many more.
And I even tried to listen to it for, like, another hour and a half. I even tried to listen to it for, like, an hour and a half, and it was just not. I was like, "What am I listening to?" I was like, "No, I'm just going back to the current read for the book of the month."
That was the same thing with my DNF. I thought, oh, I was like, I want to say 48, 50% way through there. And I'm like, I felt like I didn't want to let it go because I'm like, well, I mean, I'm halfway through. A book's a book. If but why waste my time when I can move on to something that I would enjoy? And so I'm holding myself to it, and I did DNF it,
Mhm.
and I moved on to I think I finished 2 books since then, so I'm happy.
Okay, good. I still haven't finished a book yet for the month, which is very weird, but I am still listening and reading. I
And
don't
you
know why I
probably
haven't
read
finished it yet, but
multiple books at one time, huh?
yeah. I
Yeah,
said
I
I
do the same.
wasn't gonna listen to multiple books at the same time. Mhm. I said I wasn't going to, but I am reading our current book club pick, Spells for Forgetting. I am really enjoying that. And of course, I have to get ready for Onyx Storm. So you got it. Oh, I'm jealous.
We got it at the
I'm so
library.
jealous.
We didn't buy it.
I got I put it on my Kindle. I got a new Kindle, by the way.
Oh, nice. Which
This is
one?
worth talking about. We're gonna have to talk about this. Um, the new Paperwhite, the Jade.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I have mine
Hmm.
is
Yeah,
floating around
we got
here.
that's we're gonna have to add come back and talk about that one.
I've got my original
And there's a
Paperwhite,
true
so
comparison between the two.
Oh, is it?
I
Okay,
have
cool.
my
We
other
can
one
talk.
over here too, but this is worth talking about. Definitely.
Okay. Well, everybody stay tuned because I'm sure we'll talk about it in the next episode of the podcast, which is going to be coming out soon. So excited for that.
Absolutely.
Emily said, I
Absolutely.
still think about
Very, very
all
much
her other
excited.
books. Years later, trust me, Ashley, Small Favors and House of Salt and Sorrows were mind blowing. So
Okay. I'm writing it down. I'm putting it
I
right
don't have
here
Small Favors, but we have the
as I'm
other
using
books.
Ham's pen. As I'm using Ham's pen.
That's fun.
So House of Salt and Sorrows and Small Favors. I wrote down Small Favors, but I'm gonna write down House of Salt and Sours. Because it's still the very much the beginning of the year. There's plenty of time to read more, and maybe it might be a book club pick later on to, you
Maybe
know,
you'll
try to
get around to
redeem
this.
Emily Craig for another one. Yes. Never know.
I am 50% through Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archive book 1, which is The Way of Kings, and it's a 45-hour audiobook. So it's been a long
Oh my
road.
goodness. I've been seeing that everywhere actually. And I keep telling myself, I think I just have to just put it in there and just read it. I think once I start and get going, I think I was rushing at the end of the year trying to find books to meet my goal, but I do have it on my Kindle. I actually purchased it. I even have the audio that I purchased. So it's like I just need to just sit down and just read it. Ooh, the Honey Witch. I remember seeing that one. That's a really pretty cover too. If you haven't
Yeah,
noticed, I
she's
like pretty
reading.
covers. They usually take me in.
Well, that's what almost all these books
I
coming out
read
now.
books just
Great
by the
covers.
cover.
Yeah.
Mhm. They just suck you in. It's just like, "Oh my gosh, look at this book."
Yeah.
But I do remember seeing that one. I saw it and I was like, matter of fact, it was Honey Witch and Spell Shop. I seen both of those at the same
Yeah.
time. And I was like, "Man, I wanna read those." And I ended up reading Spell Shop instead of Honey Witch. Maybe I should have went with Honey Witch.
I
Spell
don't
Shop
know.
was
I don't know.
I think
She's
I
not
gave that
done
one a
yet.
3.
Rashara,
It's Rashara. Hey, girl,
she doesn't
hey.
she doesn't mind coming in here and hearing all the spoilers. She listened to it last time.
Exactly, for the book she picked.
She's never gonna live that down.
We listen and we don't judge. Nope,
Just a little bit.
never. It's like half a soul and a touch of small favor. Oh, okay.
Have you did you read
Does
Half
it
a Soul?
have, like, a lot of No. Mm-mm.
That's another one that Emily likes. That's
Emily's
like
got good taste in books, though.
they're like a light fantasy
She's got good
romance kind
taste
of
in
thing.
books.
Yeah, she does.
Mhm. So never let that down. Rashard, did you read this one, The 13th Child? I'm curious. I don't think
Yeah,
she did though.
I don't know. Um,
I know she started Spells for Forgetting.
I think everybody was really excited for that one and just moved on. They're like, it was the holidays. I didn't have time to read this
Mhm.
one, but like they were excited for the new one. And we got some new folks in the book club and they were
Mhm.
super excited and they're jumping on it. And I'm like, I will forget everything about this book if I start it now. I will be reading this book like 2 days before the book club talk.
I think this is one that's gonna stick with me. I
Oh,
am at 60% on this one so far, and I'm taking my time with it, and I'm just pacing myself because I am enjoying it. I'll just say that I am really enjoying it without getting too far into it. But I feel like I feel like we should have, like, mini talks about our books as we go on because I have so much that I wanna talk about with this book, like, so much.
hey, that's what the chapter breakdowns are for, and the Discord always has you know threads.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that's why I really like Fable too, because you can go in and, like, if you have something to say about one chapter, you can put it there on that chapter, and you're not necessarily spoiling for anybody else or anything like that. That's one thing I do like about Fable.
Yeah, me too. Wait,
Mhm.
Rashar, which chapter 2 of the new book or the 13th Child?
I think the new book. I don't think she read The 13th Child.
Okay, that's all right. So
We gotta
that's
start thinking
really
about already what's next month's book.
new book. Of course, she's already on it. She's like, no, missed the last one and the one before that. Not missing this one. I love it.
Mhm. I love it. I think we can, like, put a little spoiler out there, but for sure I'm thinking February is gonna have to be a thriller or a mystery. Something with some action or something with it, something we haven't read yet.
You don't have to convince me. I have been trying to sneak those thrillers in here for months, but I'm not getting any love for my thrillers.
I
Emily,
really feel like it's time for, like, a thriller. I feel
Emily's
like
like,
it's
I
time
need
for
to
a
quit
thriller.
book club.
I was thinking thriller versus historical fiction.
No, God, just
I know how you
making it
feel about
romance
historical
thriller.
fiction.
I have some
Romance thriller, what is that? Is
I
there
I've
even
got I've got some smutty thrillers. We could do
I
Butcher and Blackbird.
you said somebody.
It's not it's
You
not
no,
quite a
God, no.
thriller.
Mm-mm. No, thank you. No. Uh-uh. I can't get past page 1 of that one. Mm-mm.
She said I thought that was a thing.
Fantasy romance thriller. Okay. I have never heard of a romance thriller before.
What Emily said.
What Emily said, fantasy romance thriller. I think we've done so many fantasy books that I don't know. Well, I mean, it is technically Valentine's, February is so-called the month of love, right? So I, I don't
Uh,
know. I think I want a thriller.
that's we'll put the options out there. We'll give it. I think we put them out there. We number one, we need to align with the books we want to read too. Like there's some things I want to get to that are coming
Hmm.
out in February or end of January that maybe
Hmm.
I thought about offering those up, and then we'll put out the feeler in the next couple weeks on the the Discord and see for some suggestions, and people can offer up some other books, and we'll put them in a poll and we'll figure it out.
Mhm. You know what I would like to read? I would like to read Legendborn for book club.
Yeah, that's on
I
my
already read
list
it,
as
but
well.
I think that would be a really good one just to put Legendborn out there because Oathbound comes out in March,
That's the
just to
third
put
book, right?
feelers out there. Mhm. Yep, I read Legendborn, but I haven't read Bloodmarked. It's actually over here on my shelf. If this is my physical to be read for the first quarter of the month, so that's a lot, I know, but that's the first quarter
Yes.
of the year stuff, the physical
Oh, okay.
stuff. Mhm.
I am proud because I
I
have
don't
read
know. You got a lot
a couple books with my eyes this year that, and I normally am audiobook like 90% of the time, but I have been reading with my
Mhm.
eyes, so that's very nice. It's a nice break. I just put these bad boys on here and listen to some music and kill it.
I've been doing that as well, and, I like to put lo-fi on my TV and kinda, like, chill out and just kick my feet up and read, especially since I got my new Kindle.
That's what me and Emily do like every single night
Mhm.
after we put the kids to bed. We pop on some lo-fi channel or some fireplace or something aesthetic, and we read, or sometimes I look at Facebook and she reads, but I'm only human.
That's a good way to kinda just I think it's like true self-care, and everybody's self-care looks different, but for me, that's definitely one way to fill my bucket, especially after I've had a very long day at work. It's like, I can't wait to just pick up and get lost in a book, especially when it's a really, really good book.
She might be onto something here. Emily suggested Verity, which is a
Verity.
thriller. Um, it is the only non
I
like
I couldn't
romance.
I couldn't get past the first page.
Oh God. Okay.
I couldn't get past the first page just because of I don't know, have you read the very first page?
No, it's downstairs, but I haven't looked at it.
Tell Emily to open up the very first page of the book.
Em, go grab the book.
And I
We'll see.
and I
We'll
just
see what
couldn't
she
get
says.
past that very first for like, if I could skip the very first page, I think I would be okay to continue, but just the way that it opens, I was like, immediately just, "No, this I can't." But I've heard so much about it, I just have to push past that.
I
You could
I've
probably
heard
even
that
Google the
there
way it opens.
well, yeah, I've heard there's some things inside the book as well that happen that people weren't adequately prepared for. And I think the shock value is what's making this book so popular. I've read some pretty twisted stuff, unfortunately, but I don't know that I want to seek it out in from a Colleen
I
Hoover book.
wasn't I wasn't prepared. I think that's what it was. I went for the hype and I was like, "Whoa, not ready for that," and just haven't picked it up since. I don't even think it's on my Kindle anymore. I would be
It's
willing to give it a
growing.
try. If it did win the poll, I would give it a try.
I feel like there are still better options
Did
out
she go get
there
the
that
book?
maybe I don't know. She might have. There's better options out there that we could probably still put something else out there. So who knows? We'll see. We got another half of the month to kill with this
Mhm.
one. So, and I don't even know. Emily started it, but I don't know where she's at.
Oh, it's so good. It has It has a it has magic. Okay. So it's got your magic in there. Obviously with the spells portion of it. You have a bit of mystery in there, and you also have a love story.
Well, look what just got delivered to me.
Read the first page. That is a way to open the book. And for me, a way to close the book.
I mean, it's not that bad, but it wasn't what you would expect. It it
For,
it grabbed me.
for me, it wasn't that bad. For me, it was like, oh,
I'm intrigued. I
now
don't care
Caleb's
for
like,
her.
I don't know, we should read it.
I mean, I've got to get to it at some point anyway. I can't talk shit about a book if I haven't read it.
Hmm.
So, and a lot of people, just
Okay.
jump on the bandwagon.
We'll put it on the list. We'll put it on the list. Because
I
I
have some
still
other
haven't read it.
thrillers
It was
in
just that
mind.
one. That one and Butcher and the Blackbird give me similar vibes. They give me similar vibes with the very vivid, very detailed writing. That was yeah, I had to put that
Yeah.
one down too.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
there's a couple people that I give suggestions to, and I'm always really careful about the suggestions I give because obviously I have no issues with graphic violence and other things like that. I don't have a lot of trigger warnings. I don't like uh, violence in children, but that's really it. And then there
Mhm.
are some people who just, when I'm like, hey, heads up, they don't put trigger warnings in the beginning of a lot of these books. Like
Yeah,
this
they
one
put them
doesn't.
in the back now because they want you to read them. Or or it won't even be in there. It'll be where it says for trigger warnings, go to this
Yeah,
website. And then it'll actually be like on a separate website. It won't actually be in there. Mhm.
yeah, there's none in this one. So, and I know there's at least two triggers in here that people should be warned about. Just based on what I've read online. So, shame on her. She needs to put that in her books.
Especially the very beginning. Mhm. Yes. Oh, we didn't even talk about the literacy themes and stuff for, the literary themes for 13th Child. We'll
Yeah,
just
I mean,
tuck that one away for now.
it definitely covers quite a bit there, but it doesn't do any of them justice. So there's really nothing to talk
Mhm.
about.
Mm-mm. Nope. Mm-mm.
Well, we can't win them all.
So I could technically no, we can't, but that's okay. We're not gonna win them all. But it's out there for somebody. Maybe not us, but maybe somebody else would like it. I think that's one thing I love about reading is because something that we may dislike, someone may actually like really, really love and want more of it. I think that's one of my favorite things about reading, honestly.
I mean, you hear how many people dislike a book like Verity, but that book has been read. I mean, I'll look it up on Goodreads real quick, but I bet you it's I don't know 4 million times.
I feel like it's like one of the number one. Yeah, it's like up there, like very much up there.
Let's see here, 3.2 million ratings, and it's got a 4.3 on Goodreads, which Goodreads is
Wow.
garbage, just absolute garbage in the ratings. But yeah, that's a book
It's
talk
pretty
hype.
high. It's got more than Fourth Wing on it.
And that's another book talk
Fourth
book
Wing only
that
has 2.4.
Verity's been
Mhm.
out a lot longer though.
Yeah.
Emily is suggesting The Frozen River, which I've seen this cover. That's not a thriller though.
Mhm.
I think that's back in that
No,
fantasy
but
realm.
that was actually my pick. That was my pick for January.
That's right. That's why I've
That's the
seen it.
one I added on there. Mhm. Because I was gonna do something like Ever King, or was it Ever King or something? I was gonna do something like that, but I'm like, I feel like we've read so many books in that like fantasy realm of things. I was like, let me just, switch it up a little bit. And when I saw The Frozen River, I've heard it talked about a lot. And I was like, oh, well, that looks like it would be a good one. And I think that was actually the third. So it was Frozen River, 13th Child, and then the last one at the wedding. I feel like those were the 3 we were going against.
I definitely still want to read the last one at the wedding. I think that's going to be great.
Nobody
I really
wanted the
enjoyed his first
Nightingale.
book. I'm
I've
I'm still
I've
not
heard a
sure
lot
about
of mixed
that.
reviews on that one.
Me too.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of mixed reviews on that one.
I bought it, so I got to read it.
You said the last one at the wedding. I have my little notes on. I mean, technically, it could just be on the shelf.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I really feel like, not to get too far into like book talk stuff, I really want to read Priory this year, like the Priory of the Orange Tree. Um, and what's the other one?
Yeah,
The
it's over
prequel
here.
to the Priory of the Orange Tree. I want to read those this year.
Big and
I can't
Bigger
think of
is
the
what
name
you're
already off the top
saying.
of my head, but I do have, yeah, I want to read those. And the love songs of W.B. Du Bois. I want to read that one.
I do
I
want to
got
read
some
that one.
heavy reads. Hmm.
I also have a
I think I'm gonna
book,
do that one in February.
W.B. Du Bois, downstairs. I got in when I was trying to get some classics to read.
Hmm.
So I don't remember which one it is though, but I did pick that up.
Hmm. I want to read some classics. I definitely see us reading some classics.
There's a
Whether
classics
it's book
challenge
club or
going on
not, I do want to read some
where
classics.
you, yeah, where you try to read one classic a month. So you get 12 in a year. That'd be pretty cool.
I remember seeing that. Did you send that to me?
Probably. If it's book
Or
related,
did I
I end
just
up.
stumble upon it? Ooh. Emily said the rest of Sarah J. Maas, Throne of Glass series, and Crescent City. I haven't read all of those. I have to wait. What is it? The Wings and Ruin. I'm on the third book. I haven't started that one yet, but I do want to read the rest of those books. I'm hearing a
Yeah,
lot of
she's
stuff
got
about Throne of Glass. Crescent City, not as much, but Throne of Glass, I'm hearing a lot of stuff about that one.
she's got the whole eight, I think it's 8 books for Throne of Glass. And
I don't
they
think I
say
have
it's
enough stuff
better
to write with.
than
I'm like running out of space. Hmm.
oh, Emily, you wouldn't fall asleep.
Yeah,
You'd be fine.
no classics. I fall asleep first thing. I think that would be cool to do a classics challenge. Maybe, I mean, being that it is January, we technically haven't had, like our January podcast yet. Maybe we
Mhm.
propose doing something like that. Like we actually do a classics challenge where we read one classic book a month.
Maybe we need to
I
switch
think
to a
that's
quarter.
totally doable.
Um, but
A quarter? You're like, no, I'm not doing one a month.
because I mean, in the nature of why I don't like historical fiction, um, these books being classics, tend to fall
Mhm.
into the fact that they're just historical by themselves.
They're
So the
heavy.
writing styles are different, and the
Mhm.
topics are different. So I do want to read them, but like I'm not getting a master's degree in English literature, so I don't want to take it too seriously. I just want to put them on
You're like,
my shelf.
"I see I can do it." Okay. I might still do 1 a month, though. I might still do 1 a month.
Fair.
I'm
Well,
kinda
I
well,
definitely
with me being a mood reader, though,
go ahead.
I was gonna say I just go with the flow. Whatever I feel like reading at the time, I just read.
Yeah,
Mhm.
same. Sometimes I have to push myself through. Like, you know how it is when you start a book and it's just getting start. Like Emily explained this the other day. She said, "I don't want to have to get into a book. I want to be in a book." Like she wants to already be past that hump of learning the world
Mhm.
and the characters and all of that. And I was like, I've never related to something more in my
Mhm.
life because the first like quarter, 10 to 25% of a book is all learning again. And I hate that part. Even if
Mhm.
I like the world I'm in, I just want to be in it.
Yeah. I think that's the hard thing. I especially when you're reading, like, a standalone book, is because each standalone usually has its own whatever. But when you're reading, like, a series, you're already in that world. Like, for example, The Court of, Agatar series, all that stuff. Once you get past that first book, you're already in the world. Like, that first
Yeah.
book is pretty much all the world building, it sets you up for everything. And then once you're in there, you're like, "Oh my gosh," you're in.
Yeah.
I think that's why I like series. I just can't read
I
series back to back, especially when they're not finished. Mm-mm. I like to spread them out.
Did you read Two Twisted Crowns?
No. February.
Okay. I get it.
I told
I've
you I
been the
like to
same
space them out. It
I
will be February.
I read Mistborn
Mhm,
in, like, September, and I have the second book laying around here somewhere, and I have the audio, but it's not even just the
mhm.
fact that they're 35, 40-hour audiobooks and long books each time, but, like, I enjoyed the heck out of that book, and I want to know more, but I don't wanna crack it open and, like, start on that journey again, so instead, I picked up another one to start on another series, and I don't know. I'm gonna get through all of Mistborn
Oh, you gotta be in
series
a whole
1
'nother world.
and then all of the Stormlight Archives. By some miracle, I will finish all 5 books, which is collectively, like, 7,000 pages. I'll get through those this year somehow.
I would say that with all of the hype that I'm hearing about Brandon Sanderson, I feel like his books would be rewarding to read them, especially with how many they are and also with how big his books are. I feel like it would be a reward to read those. Doesn't
To
he actually,
me
like, teach, like, a class at a college?
yeah, so he teaches at BYU,
I thought so.
Brigham Young, and he,
I thought
if
so.
you've never seen any videos of him or anything, he's got a bunch of stuff online. He actually is probably one of the best authors because he has a dedicated website for his universe. He's got a wiki, he's got all of the resources, he has videos, he has all these different things because his whole universe is interconnected. I've never picked up a book from Sanderson and said, "Oh, I didn't like the way that one was written." Like, the writing is just easy, and the characters have great personality. I've also never said, "Oh, that character is poorly written." Like, there's just none of that. And so, that's why I wanna keep picking up his books,
Mhm.
but at the same time, they are daunting.
Yeah, they're long.
and like, and
And
just
especially
so many things to
if
remember.
you can't read it throughout I was gonna say, if you can't read it, like, all throughout the day, it feels like it would even be longer.
Yeah. And like
Yeah,
I've got
it would
numbers I'm
yeah,
trying
because
to,
you have to pause for work.
trying to hit, and I don't want to, not that it's all about the numbers, but I want to keep progression going. So I'm like
Mhm,
reading it, but like when I'm in a Sanderson mode, I don't want to listen to anything else. I want to get invested in this. So it's like a double-edged sword where I'm like, yeah, I could spread this across the whole month and read, all this and space it out.
mhm.
Or I can absolutely cram this in. I've only been listening to it for 2 days and I'm 50% in, which is 22 and a half hours. So I,
Okay,
I'm just all in.
okay. I'm gonna have to, I keep seeing Mistborn everywhere, and I keep saying that I'm gonna do it, and I feel like yeah, I'm always talking about it. Has Emily ever read Mistborn?
No. And she likes fantasy. Actually,
Mhm,
here's a great suggestion for you. I think you should read Tress of the Emerald Sea or Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, because
mhm.
they're standalone books that exist inside of his universe but don't relate to anything else. You don't have to be invested. Their characters aren't carrying over, and they're really just fun reads. And Tress of the Emerald Sea is like a
Okay,
reverse Princess Bride, which was really fun. And Yumi and the Nightmare Painter has a really nice, gentle, subtle romance aspect to it, but he doesn't write romance like romance. He doesn't write anything in that way. He writes things very, um, I'll say reserved, but in the best way, where you feel connections between people, but you don't need to have steamy scenes to do that. Yeah,
okay.
see,
I could relate to that.
Emily
And
and
actually, it's the
you
one right
read
here
it
for
with
the
it.
new release. I think
Which
that's
one?
why also too, I really don't have anyone like, when I'm reading a difficult book, the Yumi and the Nightmare Painter, it's actually listed on here as a new one, but it says the dramatized adaptation.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that
Well,
would be
that'll be
kinda cool, I think. Okay. Huh. I could do that because the other narrator is what made me pause for, Mistborn. But I think what also makes it difficult for me to read Mistborn, being that it's more complicated of a fantasy book for me, is that I'm not reading it along like, with someone else. So because I'm not reading it with someone else, I don't have where I can be like, "Hey, pause," and then go to wherever and say, "Oh my gosh, did you just read this chapter?" Or, have somebody to talk to about it. So, I mean, I feel like that might be why. I don't know, does
well,
Emily wanna
you
read that
can
with me? I know Rashard, she probably won't read that one.
you can always reach out to me, as I've always read it, but, we don't read at the same
Okay.
pace because I binge books. So Emily hates that too. She's like, "I just wish we
Mhm.
were reading this together," but like I won't start a book for 2 weeks while she's reading it, or a week or whatever, and then I'll finish it in a day, and then I will have passed her or whatever. And she's like, "Well, I wanted to read it with you," but she reads with her eyes faster
Right,
than I
like, to
can.
actually read it. Mhm.
So I'm like, I don't
Okay.
know, it's just not fair. She said, "I'll read it with you."
Oh, yay, she'll read it with me. Exciting. Okay, in March. I think that's actually a good time too. I like that.
Yeah,
I
I'm excited.
got a buddy. Thanks,
I didn't realize how much I was going to become a Brandon Sanderson, like, fanboy. Like, I will convince other people to read his books all the time for the rest of my life, because He's very quickly becoming my favorite author. And like Neil Gaiman is my favorite author, but come on, Neil, you haven't written anything in a couple years. And so Brandon's pushing out books like he's running out of time. And, and so I'm just going to keep on reading them.
Okay. I put it on here. So Emily and I, March, we're gonna read it. I'm excited.
I think you're gonna like it. I really like. He doesn't just write like magic in like, oh, they were fairies and they had natural. No, okay. I think we're back. I'm back.
I froze for a second.
We all
Yeah,
did.
I'm
I don't
back.
know
I
what.
froze for a second. I'm good now.
Okay. Emily said, or
I
I'm
heard
sorry.
the part when we were
Um,
saying we were in. Say, Caleb, you're
yeah.
frozen. Yeah, we both froze for a second. Uh, I'm telling you, it's
What was I
just
saying?
it's
Oh,
at least we still we still did today though. We didn't cancel, we didn't push back. We just said, you know what, we're gonna still do it.
I agree completely.
Y-
Well, I think that might be the
Yeah.
internet telling us it's time to call it. But um, I
Yes.
had a lot of fun, and I think what we're going to do, we're going to continue to do these live shows to talk about the books. But I also think, guys, gals, everybody, we're going to do some reading sprints together, where I'll host them on stream
Yes.
here again on YouTube, and we can just spend some time and we'll do some like Pomodoro breaks, and just read for a couple hours and chat here and there in between breaks. I think it'd be a lot of fun. So we'll nail some time down here in the next month or so, and we'll get some sprints in.
I am excited for that. That is one thing that I have been looking forward to, like us actually planning is doing the live reading sprints, and I'm excited. I'm really excited for that one.
Me too. And now we have Emily and Rashara and hopefully a bunch of other new people in the book club who are going to come hang out with us.
Yes.
And anybody watching this on after the recording, come check us out. Come hang out with us. We hopefully won't have technical difficulties next time, but we can't guarantee anything.
It's probably because everybody's home too. That happens.
Yeah, always. Yeah.
Does that
We're
happen for
down
you
one
guys
time.
too? Like when
My daughter's at my mom's, so like it's slightly quiet. Otherwise, she would have been in here 1,000 times asking me for snacks.
I fed Hammy before, so he's good.
I know. I'm gonna go downstairs and eat something now. But thanks, Emily. Thanks for Shara for popping
Yes.
on.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
we'll talk again next time.
Absolutely. Until next time. Happy
Bye, everybody.
reading. Bye.